Hello YouTube, it's Keith, Kevin, Ken. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today, as I wait for a brand new Spyderco that should be coming, I don't know, later on this week, I thought what I'd do is take a look at my natives and all of its offsprings. You know, I was digging through my knives to get my EDC carry going, and I realized, man, I have so many natives and offshoots of natives, like the Little Native, and of course the Shaman, and even the Native Chief. So I thought what I'd do is go through all of the natives that I have, from one of the original natives all the way through to the most recent Shaman and everything in between. So let's talk about the native. You know, to me, the native's one of those Spyderco knives that you don't hear it talked about a lot. You always talk about the paramilitary 2 and the para 3 and all of those. But the native has really been around for a very long time with Spyderco. And this is one of them. It's, to me, one of the better EDC knives. I like smaller knives. Knife that you can use in every situation. This right here is one of the original natives. As you can see, has the back lock. This one has a hollow ground with the swedges on top. You know, I also collect Spyderco catalogs from way back when, since they started printing catalogs. And I love when they give a description of some of these knives. You know, they don't call them swedges. They talk about the unique design of the blade that saves weight and looks nice. And that's exactly what a swedge is. This is with one of the hollow ground. It's S30V steel, 3-inch blade, just a real nice size for a 3-inch blade. Made in the USA. All of the knives that you will see in the native family are made in Colorado. S30V steel, hollow ground, 3-inch blade. Of course, it has a 50-50 choil. And the total length is 6.9 inches. That, again, is one of the originals. Then this is the Native 3. And the same kind of hollow ground blade with the swedge, the forward choil. But one of the big changes, and by the way, FRN scales, as you can see with bi-directional on the scales. They've been doing FRN scales for a very long time. Fiberglass, reinforced nylon. You can see the clip. This is the earlier one's two-way clip, which means you can have a right hand, left hand tip up. This is the Native 3, which I know you don't see a lot. Again, like all the natives, the 50-50 choil, the jimping. This is, again, hollow ground. And what they did, the change they made in this one is they made the FRN fatter. And look what they added early on, a wire clip. So the third, fatter FRN scales. You see this a lot in some of the earlier Spydercos. And I like it because it really does fit the hand well. It really fits it well. Fills out your hand. And an early version of the wire clip. You see that on a lot of the older Spydercos too. I know they're using it more and more. I love the wire clip. It's one of my favorite clips. But you're starting to see that even earlier on they had the wire clip. Now it's really come into use. More of a deep carry clip as well. Right hand, left hand as well. That's the Native 3. And then we start seeing the modern day natives. The Native 5s. This is S35VN steel. Remember, they're all US made out of Colorado. S35VN steel, weighing 3.7 ounces. All of these have the same blade measurement, at 3 inches. All of them have a backlock as well. This one, now that we have the black G10 scales, we have the full liners, skeletonized liners. You know, the word skeletonized, or the phrase skeletonized liners, you have the stainless steel liners and then they cut holes in the liners to make them lighter. Now the degree of the degree that the liners are skeletonized vary greatly. But this just feels great. Nice grippy black G10. S35VN steel. This Native 5 is a sprint run. You know, before Spyderco introduced their S110V series of knives with the Blurple G10 or the blue, and you'll see one of them in this collection, or just the blue FRN scales, dark blue. They actually had a sprint run with S110V steel with the Native. And this is with carbon fiber. Just a real nice knife. You can see that the jimping is cut deeper on the 5s. Just feels great in the hand. It's not going anywhere. And instead of the two-way clip, right hand, left hand, just tip up, Spyderco started with their right hand, left hand, tip up and tip down, 4-way clips on this one. I talked about the Blurple and the dark blue series of knives. Those are production knives. They're available. I don't know. It feels like that's the one time Spyderco did these super steels, and they had already done a Native, of course, as a sprint run, but they did a series of knives with Blurple, mostly the US made knives, and they just made them production knives, not anything special. I like that. This is the S110 with the blue FRN scales and the 4-way clip. They just introduced this blacked out version not too long ago of the Native. S35VN steel, all black with FRN scales, 4-way clip. Here's another Spyderco sprint run, I believe. It was a sprint run. The Native 5 with carbon fiber, and in this case, crucibles 154 and S90V steel. 154 and S90V steel. Again, hollow ground with the carbon fiber scales, the 4-way clip. Spyderco has really been doing a lot with natives. That's why it's 5. They've changed it several times. They really love the homegrown nature of it and the fact that it's been around for so long. That when they celebrated their 40th anniversary 2 years ago, they used the Native to represent the anniversary, and they did a real special Native. This is the 40th anniversary sprint run version. As you can see, Spyderco usually leaves their blades pretty much untouched, but in this case, they wanted to make sure you knew it was the 40th anniversary year. Wow, 2014. 2016. I'm recording this at the end of 2019 in November, so it was 3 years. Time goes fast, especially as you get older. I love that. Depending on how you put in the light, it almost seems to disappear. This is with special Damascus blade. They worked with Damned Steel, and this is the Thor pattern. Damned Steel, Damascus with the Thor pattern. And this wonderful 3D, carbon fiber as well. It's a real nice knife. You don't see these around that much. My guess is a lot of people didn't buy them. The same year Spyderco came out with the same 3D carbon fiber scales, but without the Damascus blade, and of course without the 40th anniversary. And so that's a real nice native and a less expensive with great materials than the 40th anniversary version. And then this is my last native that I just bought not too long ago. It's the Native 5 Crew Wear. This is with smooth black G10, and it's a Knife Center exclusive. I don't know if they're sold out. They may still be around, but of course I love Crew Wear. Crew Wear is very popular these days. 4-way clip, and I like the smooth G10. I get it. It doesn't give you the grippiness, but with that 50-50 choil, it really, and that deep jimping, it's not going anywhere. Full flat ground blade as well. That's the last native that I had. And then, of course, Spyderco 2 years ago introduced the Little Native. And they surprised me with the Little Native. They actually released 4 knives within a couple of weeks of each other. They did, wow, was it only 4? Let's see. Yeah, 4 knives. No, actually, I think they did 6 knives. Anyway, they did a full serrated blade, which you see here. They did a plain edge blade, and they did a blacked out version. And they did 2 types. As you can see, all of these natives have the back lock. So with the Little Native, L-I-L Native, they have back locks. But the backlog version was the second version that they released. The first version, again, this is the serrated version. They have them in plain edge and black blades. S30V steel, forward choil, the 50-50 choil, and the compression lock. This is the first time anything with native in the title had a compression lock. That surprised me. A nice small knife, not with a back lock, but with the compression lock, which is really great. Also the wire clip. These had, so the real Little Native that really looked like a big native, with the back lock, they had the regular clip on it, like on the big native. On this one, they not only put their own compression lock on it, which makes it a wonderful knife, but they also included a real small deep carry wire clip. Really nice. The Little Natives Instead of a 3-inch blade, it's a 2.5-inch blade. The total length of all the Little Natives, 5.9 inches. And then it only weighs 2.1 ounces. Compression lock and back lock. Plain edge, serrated edge, and an all blacked out version. 6 different knives. And my most recent Little Native, I had all 6 of them, but I trimmed my collection and sold the other 4 off. And then this baby, oh man, what can you say? This is really the ultimate, at this point, the ultimate Little Native. This is a St. Nick's Knives exclusive with that beautiful, really beautiful red G10, the black blade, and of course CPM 4V steel, and only around 500, give or take 10 knives or so. Only around 500 of them available. Oh man, this red G10 is so great. Again, with the black hardware, the black clip on the red, the small wire clip. The Little Natives, unlike the Native 5s, are left-handed, right-handed, tip up only. But look at that. And of course, this came with the compression lock. This thing sold out so fast. Won't be available again. But a really beautiful knife, and also one that's very rare. And then what Spyderco did, after they introduced the Little Native, which they've done with other knives, they introduced the Jumbo Native. Yeah, it's the Shaman, the Spyderco Shaman. The Shaman is, as Spyderco says, a big native. And it is. It has everything that you expect from the Native except supersized. The 50-50 churro. This has the full flat ground leaf shape Spyderco. Again, all of these made in the USA, made in Colorado. Oh man, I fell in love with the Shaman. They released the Shaman the same way they released the Little Native, except for the Shaman, it was only with the compression lock. And with the Shaman, they had 4 different versions. They had plain edge with serrations, black plain edge, and black plain edge with serrations. Of course, I sold the other 3 as I thinned out my collection. S30V steel. And where the Native 5 was 3 inches, the Little Native was 2.5 inches, the Shaman came in and blew everything away with its huge size. 3.6 inches. Feels so great in the hand, I'll tell you. I like smaller knives. This thing feels so great. It has this molded G10 scales. They're big, they're molded, no hard edges at all. Skeletonized liners, and of course with that compression lock, as smooth as silk. That was the introduction of the Shaman. And boy, Spyderco has really been working the Shaman. It's rare that you get two sprint runs on a new project within like a year of the original release. But Spyderco did it this year. They did the carbon fiber version of the Shaman. This is sprint run. S90V steel with the carbon fiber, which feels just so great. A sprint run is a limited edition run directly from Spyderco. Around 1,200 or so pieces, give or take a couple of hundred. And so it's limited edition, 4-way clip, right hand, left hand, tip up, tip down. Oh, just a real nice sprint run. Hard to find. Grab it if you can find it. And then St. Nick's Knives, who did that wonderful Lil Native, introduced the red and black version as a exclusive distributor with CPM 4V steel, that beautiful red G10 with the black hardware, the black blade, and it sold out quickly. Again, another limited version. I'm going to try to fit all these in here. And then just when you thought in 1 year you've seen enough of the Shaman, Spyderco came with their second sprint run. And this thing was so hard to get. Now, I'm part of the Spyderco Collectors Club. I get one version of everything that they have. I always get the question, how come yours have 023 on the blade and mine doesn't? Sorry for the dirty blade. That 023 is my collector's number. It's 23. When you see a V next to it, that means it's a variation on the original. If it's an original, you just see the 023, the 23. So I pay in advance. I make a commitment to buy all of their knives, no matter what it is. And I've also decided to buy all of their distributor exclusives too. Thank goodness, because there have been some great knives, but you have a choice whether to opt into that or not. This, of course, with the micarta and with crewware, just sold out in minutes. Now, the rumor is, I think it's more than a rumor. I know it's more than a rumor, by the way, because Sal Glesser, the owner and founder of Spyderco, on the forums said they will be releasing another micarta Shaman. So you can see this as micarta. This was a sprint run, which means limited edition. It was, as soon as they showed up, everyone bought them out quickly. Because of the vast popularity and the fact that a lot of people didn't get a chance to get one, they're going to release another one with micarta handles, thank goodness, and a different steel, blade steel. And the reason is, this is a sprint run. You don't want to add to the numbers, especially if you were lucky enough to get one as a collector. Collection, small numbers matter. But be aware, at some point, they haven't announced, they're going to come out with another one. So, you have the natives, you have the Lil Natives, you have the Shaman, and then this surprised me actually. When Spyderco came out with the Native Chief, another version of the Native. I'm loving this from Spyderco, by the way. Take a knife that you're very proud of, that represents you, a foundation of your knife, and make different variations of it to get people super excited about it. Now, the Lil Natives, people got super excited about. The Shamans, I was surprised about the Native Chief. I really was. The form factor was interesting to me, a lot thinner, a big knife. 4.1 inch blade. This is a big knife. Really is. Drop point 9.1 inches total. This is the biggest of all of the native kin. 3.9 ounces with the back lock. 4-way clip, right hand, left hand. Keeps the choil. It has all of the characteristics, just super thin. and long. And of course, made in the USA, which I love. S30V steel. I love made in the USA. I'm not that crazy about it. I will buy knives made elsewhere. But it's good to have a US made knife from Spyderco, like the Para 3s and the paramilitary 2s. You know, they have their Japanese knives, the Delicas and Doras, etc. But they also have the US made knives, which I love. And you'll see all these new steels from the US made knives. So there you have it. That's the Native and all of its relatives. I wanted to bring that to you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I know it's a long one. I apologize for that. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping warm. You have a perfect day. Don't forget to subscribe. I kept saying I'm going to trim my collection. I'm going to trim my collection. I don't know when. I'll have to tell you, I went to the post office late last week and got nausea. The lines, I never got to do even my business I needed to do. So I'm not doing the mailing thing until after Christmas. I will definitely, and it's a big collection, and a lot of nice knives. Some of them you see on this table now will be trimmed from my collection and offered only to you guys watching. It will happen in January. I will give you specifics as we get closer. I wish you guys the best. I will bring you more videos, but if I don't see you or talk to you until then, have a wonderful holiday. Goodbye.